service in AWS which act as your code companion. That is AWS Code Whisperer. So let's get started into today's agenda. So we'll see what this AI code generator AWS service looks like, its key features, best practices, and finally a demo. So what is AWS Code Whisperer? It's your code companion, which provides you real-time code suggestion, and it can be integrated to some of the very known IDEs like VS Code, PyCharm, IntelliJ. But for today's demo, we'll be using another AWS service, which is a Cloud IDE Cloud 9, where we'll be integrating it with the Code Whisperer. And where fee is concerned, it is per user per month subscription fees. Some of the key features, it helps you get things done faster, as it helps you to generate code based on the comment which you write. It can also flag or filter code suggestion along with the associated repo, and then it gives you recommendations based on the internal library or package, maybe kind of a inner source. So you have all the code, etc., of your organization at one place. You can associate those libraries, those packages, and then based on existing code, it would give you recommendations, right? So some of the best practices, like how it mentioned that it gives you flags or filters, code suggestions, along with associated repo. So it's very important for you to remember that you avoid sharing any confidential data. Remember, security of the data is your responsibility. And just don't copy paste the code which you get. Ensure the code which is auto generated through Code Whisperer, it is reviewed and it follows your company's guidelines and best practices. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do a small demo. Okay. So as I told you, we'll be using AWS Cloud 9, which is a cloud ID, which helps you to write, run, debug your code. It can be accessed in two ways. One is console and CLI. So we'll be using console mainly. And then there are three parts to this demo. You have an EC2 instance on which your Cloud 9 is running. And on that Cloud 9, you want your Code Whisperer to generate code, right? So you're doing three things, right? Which requires you to set up correct policies and permission. So first thing for the demo is setting up that IAM role, which has required policies, which allows you to access Cloud 9 and helps you to generate the code. Okay. So here is how our IAM looks like. Hold on. Let's take you to IAM role. Okay, here it is. So this is my IAM role. Hold on. Yeah, so this is the role I created. I have attached some AWS managed policy, which is AWS Cloud 9 administrator, all those things. And then there is a interesting policy, which is the customer managed. That is something which we created. Let's see what this policy is all about. So it helps you if you go ahead and see, it allows what you can do through this policy. It allows you to generate code. Yeah. Okay. So this is something which you have to create and then attach it to your IAM role. Rest of the policies which you saw, it was AWS managed policies only, right? I had attached it to the role. Now what I have to do, I have to go to Cloud 9. Yeah, I've already created an environment. But if you want to create a new environment, go to Cloud 9 and click on create environment, right? Give the name of your environment. And here, what you have to do, either you can create new EC2 instance or you can add existing EC2 instance. So for my demo, what I did, I have created a new EC2 instance. And then I selected T2 micro because I'm just going to generate a code to sum two numbers. So I don't need a lot of computation here. And then I'm telling how I'm going to connect to this environment, right? So that's it. Once all the steps are done, environments gets created along with an EC2 instance where this environment is going to run. So if you want to go ahead and check the configurations of your EC2 instance, click on manage EC2 instance here. And then once you go to EC2 instance, remember we have to attach our role. Okay, so click on this security, modify IAM role, and go ahead and select the role which you've created. Okay, so your two things are ready. You've created an environment which would be running on new EC2 instance, and on that for that EC2 instance, you've associated a role which would allow EC2 instance to access Cloud9 and also to generate code through AWS Code Whisperer. Okay, now let's come to the actual piece, which is accessing Code Whisperer through Cloud9. Okay, so if you go to the environment and you can say click on open in Cloud9, it would take you to IDE. Okay, I've already opened IDE. Okay, right. So for example, let me don't save. Here is your, go ahead and create your example.java or example.py, whatever, in whichever language you want Code Whisperer to generate you or suggest code. And where do you see the Code Whisperer? This AWS icon. If you click on AWS icon, you'll see this Code Whisperer option. Okay. Right now, if you click on pause auto suggestion, it won't give you any suggestion. But if you enable it, now moment I'll write class example. Okay, it's okay, right? And just go ahead and say add two numbers. And moment you come to the next line, it would give you the suggestion, right? This is your first number. And yeah, so see, it was so simple to generate code, right? More details. If you want to see, okay, how do you want to generate a single line of a code, etc. All those details can be found on the documentation itself. So let me take you to the documentation. I've opened a lot of things. Yeah. So this, like, if you go to AWS Cloud9, it would talk about, okay, what kind of setup you want to do it. Do you want to do it for a single user, or you want to do it from a group of users based on what kind of, are you creating this environment to be shared across your team? This setup might vary. For now, I have done the setup for me to access that environment. Okay, and yeah, and if you just go ahead and search, right, AWS Cloud9 and Code Whisperer, Whisperer. Okay. Yeah. So this would, see, I was talking about policy which we had to associate. So it's already mentioned here, and all the steps are mentioned here. Then you can go for some examples, code example, like, okay, you want to generate single line of a code, or you want to generate a full function. So all those steps are mentioned here. See, okay, go ahead, create a class, start typing a comment. The moment you move to the next step, you'll be given these suggestions, etc. Okay, and if you want line by line recommendation, okay, looks like this is available only for these three things, but yeah. So see, these services, yes, they help you to reduce the time it takes for you to generate the code. But at the end of the day, I would still advocate or suggest that don't copy paste things blindly. You have to understand it and improvise it. You have to think about the scenarios, etc. So all those things you have to take care of, ensure that it gets reviewed without, before it gets merged to your master branch. So some of the things, and then you have to take care of the security. At the end of the day, security is your responsibility. Okay, so yeah, that's it for today. Do use it and let me know how it was for you all. Thank you.